Welcome back, everybody. This is the Running It Back Network's recap of the 2025 Tour de France. Today was stage 7 in the Tour. It was another good one. We got headlines, the USA Report, winners and losers, media numbers, and of course, we're going to talk about tomorrow's stage too. But let's get right into it because today was another interesting stage. Today was another fun stage for the breakaway, for final climbs, and for anticipation as well for the upcoming weekend. All right, so let's talk headlines to start. Before we get started, I want to thank everybody for listening to the last couple of shows. Definitely have gotten some more views, and that's because, well, I don't know what it's because of. Somebody's listening to something. Maybe my timing is just good on when I upload these videos, but thank you, new viewers. Thank you, new subscribers, too. Don't forget, we're going to have a fun weekend of stage recaps with friend and comedian Dan Dowling is going to join me at some point, and I'm going to be here. Hey, so that's pretty good. All right, so let's get into it because the tour, I should say, is in full swing now. And also, not to mention, we're a week in. So actually, I think some adrenaline has started to wear off. Some actual fatigue might be in the legs. And now we might get into some real raw racing, and the mountains are coming. So what's up with headlines? Let's talk about it. Headlines for today. Stage 7, Pogačar takes back the yellow jersey and wins the stage in a very powerful fashion today. Headline number 2, all the other GC contenders actually sounded pretty positive after the stage today. And finally, another fun breakaway was today. So, number 1, Pogačar is back in the yellow, and it's weird to call him winning the stage and him getting back in the yellow. He did it in a conservative way, but I really thought he did. He was measured today. He used his team adequately today. The only hiccup being that Almeida crashed pretty heavily in the run into the finish. Big question mark on how much that's going to play in a role in his abilities in the high mountains. We saw how great of a potential he had as a teammate a stage ago, and now he took a hard tumble. Not that Pogačar really needs a lot of help in the mountains, but we saw what a good teammate can do for him. Big question mark there for Almeida. Pogačar, you could tell, held back an attack and an attack late for the win. I don't know what it says, but Jonas seems to get second place pretty easily on his wheel sprinting, like there's not a gap. So either Jonas is a stronger sprinter or Pogačar is holding back in the sprints. I have a feeling it's Jonas is a stronger sprinter. For some reason, that's what I think it is. He's still getting second. There's really no threat of coming around him, but he's right there. He's very attentive and he's ready. And Remco really doesn't have anything to get onto these sprints. Interesting today, Remco found himself at the front of the group rolling into that finish line. I think he was surprised to be there. He did a little looking around. He didn't know if he should lead out or if he should just stop pedaling and coast, which he ended up doing, and then the group essentially reset itself. But I was a little surprised. He's like, oh, Remco's coming into the line in this group. Oh, that's because Pogačar eased up on the pace. And it surprised the other riders, I thought. So it's almost like, get ready for Pogačar, get ready, get ready. And then what happens? Pogačar goes slow, but yet, of course, still wins the stage. Headline number 2, like I said, the other GC contenders were like positive today, even though they're losing little bonus sprint points, sprint time to Pogačar, and he's winning stages. Let's give it to Jonas that he looked better compared to that time trial he put up. He was attentive. The team support was good into that final stage. There's some odd tactics going on with Visma and the early breakaways that I still have not figured out, and I don't think anybody has really figured out. That being said, he had plenty of teammates in the field today. He had plenty of teammates pacing him through the hard, narrow climbs. So positive Jonas, positive Remco as well. And is Kevin Volklon a GC contender? Can we say that? Is Oscar only a GC contender? I don't think so, but they seem really positive just to be there. So it's interesting that we know Pogacar is so strong, so above everyone else's level. Just to be in the range of that 1 minute to 1 minute and a half is something to be positive about. I think the strategy now, specifically talking about Jonas, is let's just stay close. If he beats us and we get second place by 5 minutes, fine. If he beats us by 1 minute, fine. But let's just be close, because if there's any hiccup, if there's any hint of bonking, if there's any hint of him not having the legs, we'll just be there. We'll just be next in line. I guess that's a strategy. And then last headline is another fun breakaway. By that I mean Geraint Thomas. Hey, how about that? He was like sitting 30-something in the overall, and he decides to get himself in a breakaway, which is never easy to do in these tour stages. And I think he was one of the first ones dropped when it went uphill, but he gave it a run. And now, from an Ineos standpoint, like, what's the goal here at this tour? You don't have a sprinter. You don't have a GC guy. So the hunt for stages just starts maybe tomorrow? Is that the plan? And if so, then I wouldn't mind seeing Geraint Thomas in a few more breaks, especially on some mountain stages. Go for it. That would make it really fun. He's the oldest guy in the race. I think he's 37, maybe 39. So, fun breakaways. You know, the thing is, when we get to these points where we know more or less who's going to win this tour, we did this in the Lance years, we look for the secondary storyline, and a fun breakaway could be a great storyline. Get some Alaphilippes in a breakaway with Geraint Thomas, with maybe a young guy in there as well, maybe a guy that we would think is a sprinter. Let's have some fun breakaways. It's kind of like a social mixer for professional cycling, you know, where you all wear a name tag and you have to order a drink for somebody, and then you got to talk about it, discuss it. So let's move on to our next report. We do it every day. The USA report, tracking our American riders in the tour. Quinn Simmons was really active today again. I think he even tried to get in a few breaks early again. But by and large, I saw him towards the end of the race pacing for teammates, for Scarmos more than likely. He's looking really good. He had some great statements to make after his breakaway day yesterday. Just saying, like, the effort's there. He's going to keep trying. He knows what stages he's going to go for, and he knows what stages he's going to help in. So he's really having a great tour in the sense he's playing with house money here. He's only here to get in breakaways and try for the stage win, and there's really no pressure, say, if he doesn't execute it, but this is a great way to just go for it. I think he's going to get one. I think he's got a shot. He put up his power file as well yesterday, and it was just astronomical power. I think it was doing like 3-something was the average. 300 and something watts for an average of over 100 miles is unbelievable. It was funny, though, that the winner of the stage, Ben Healy, his average watts were actually less. I think they were like 268. Lighter guy, arguably a lot of more aerodynamic accoutrements to him. Great stage yesterday. Today was fun, too. Next up in the USA report, Matteo Jorgensen finished in the front group. He finished 5th place today, looking like a great co-leader going into the weekend. He's attentive. He's helping. He is right where he needs to be for everything. The high mountains, the long mountains, ideally would suit him better. We got to wait and see compared to these explosive efforts that are finishing these stages on Cat 3 climbs. Neilson Powless, active yesterday. He was trying to get in some moves yesterday. Finishes in the group today. Will Barta, Sepp Kuss, same thing, all in the group. Quick question mark on Sepp Kuss. I predicted or anticipated or maybe hopefully estimated that Sepp Kuss is just taking these weeks easy so he can be in good shape for the high mountains and be a helpful rider when we get to the big stuff. Are we sure that's good for him to be losing time on days like today and the other stages? Maybe he doesn't really have the form I'm thinking he might. So he's a big question mark, not only for me as a fan of USA cycling and American riders, but as a teammate for Visma, for Jonas. Like, do you have enough to support us? Because if we got co-leaders, if it's Jorgensen and Jonas going into a climb seeking support, we're going to need a Sepp Kuss. We're going to need a Yates. We're going to need a Tisch and a Wout at the base of these climbs. And if we eliminate Kuss, we're down to one potential climber rider like Yates, who has a whole Giro in his legs. It's not enough. It really isn't. So I'm a little nervous for Sepp Kuss on this first mountain stage if he just doesn't have it in this tour like we would anticipate. Let's keep hopes alive for the USA riders. Neilson Powell, Will Barta, Quinn Simmons, all are break-friendly riders. Sepp Kuss, helper role. Matteo Jorgensen, co-leader role. In a dream scenario, wouldn't it be great if Jorgensen got the jersey? Like, say Pogačar got in a spot where we want to give away the jersey or something like that, and Jorgensen had the jersey. Hey, sticking with the USA report, did you guys all see that Greg LeMond got some sort of Medal of Congressional Honor? I don't know what for, but he was there, got the medal. LeMond, I wonder why he doesn't have some sort of podcast or tour recap show or get him on Peacock. You know, the guy's got a lot to say. Get him on there. Well, that was the USA report. Let's continue on to winners and losers of Stage 7. Starting with winners. Winners of Stage 7. How about Cat 3 climbs? Just in general, how great are Cat 3 climbs? Do you like a climb where a group of like 20 or so riders roll into the base of it and it just gradually thins out, and then a little attack goes over the top, and then all of a sudden we're descending. Now people can get back in like we saw the day before with Van der Poel and stuff like that, where it's like, okay, now look who's back. Do you two want to roll fast over the top that you got away, or do you want to let it come back? How about Cat 3 is a really fun climb for professional cyclists to do. Also doesn't hurt that a lot of these climbs are in these little towns, and the town comes out for them. The roads are narrow. You hear a lot of cheering. Cat 3 climbs, winner today. Next winner today of the Tour de France Stage 7. How about Kevin Vogelon? Yeah, we've been talking about him, but he's been hanging this first week. What a first week for him. He was 7th today. He's sitting 3rd overall. And I listened to the Move podcast today specifically to hear what they said about him. Apparently, they're not so skeptical that he can't necessarily climb in these mountains. He's had a few good high mountain stages this year in other races. He's having a great week. To be French, to be surprising everyone with a great overall and a great stage today. Kevin Vogelon, big winner today in the Tour. Along those lines, how about Oscar Only as a winner of today? Team Picnic, he was 3rd today on a small team. Apparently that team is in danger of losing their UCI Pro status or World Tour status because of points. He's certainly adding to that. This is what the Tour does, is we have a couple of, call them one-hit wonders or sensational riders for this 3 weeks, and all of a sudden, they're getting a big contract next year. They're going on to a bigger team next year, whether it's to support someone or to ride for themselves. It's a big, big deal to ride well in the Tour. And these two were winners today, doing great. Makes me think, I can't wait to watch these mountains. Like, this may be the guy I root for that isn't a GC guy, that's an outsider, that's getting in the mix. Is like, is a podium really possible? Okay, maybe he slipped to 10th. Is a stage possible? This is the fun part of the Tour that gets underrated, is like, let's find that story for me as an individual to glob onto and root for. And let me hear a Vogelon interview. I've never heard his voice before. What's he sound like? What's his impressions of the race? How hard was that? Awesome. Those are the winners today. Okay, how about, let's flip it. Let's go to losers of Stage 7. I've heard this on almost every single podcast I've listened to, is, can anyone figure out Visma's tactics? Now, they tried to put satellite riders in the break again today. Wout tried a bunch today. Yates was in the break yesterday. Yet the break isn't coming back, so the satellite rider exercise doesn't really work because they're not coming back to the break at all. And when Yates came back yesterday, it's not like he did anything in the group there. It was going too hard. Can't figure out Visma tactics. And do they really have the riders to burn to do these, to get in these big effort breaks? If we're already not sure who's going to be the main support guy in the mountains. Nobody can figure out these. The guys on the move talked about it, couldn't figure it out. Horner seems to be doing full-on 45-minute videos on not understanding these ridiculous tactics. And it almost comes off as desperate. They're already ready to try desperate moves against Pogačar. Nothing has even come close to working, though. But we have seen little flashes. Let's not forget the Jorgensen-Vauquelin roll off the front potential that ultimately did not come to be, but that was a tactic that could have worked. The satellite rider, in theory, should work, but we haven't seen it yet. Is it desperate, or are they just fine-tuning their tactic for this first run into the mountains? I'm going to still call it loser tactics. They were a loser. Next loser. This pertains to me. Loser of the stage is, how about me trying to watch the stage at work today on my phone? Here's where it started. I'm riding my bike into work, and I mounted my phone on my handlebar so I could watch the stage, because I am in perfect no man's land, because I'll miss the end of the stage on my commute to work. So I had the phone mounted on my handlebar, and I'm doing the looking at it, looking at the stoplight, looking at traffic, trying to listen to it. Not easy to watch a stage at work. And then once I got to work, I just sort of propped it up, but I turned the volume down while I was at my desk and tried to watch it. But then the interviews came and I couldn't listen to it. So loser of the day is all us individuals who try and watch the stage at work. One more loser of the stage today. This pertains to the NBC Peacock broadcast studio show. Loser of the day, how about TJ Van Garderen and Brent Bookwalter's ties? That is like the widest, fattest tie knot I've seen. That looks like a grandpa knot. And the collars have these little bitty corners that poke out. Whose wardrobe here at NBC? It's been odd. It's odd when wardrobe takes your attention away from whatever they're saying. So I can't figure out. But now I'm on tie watch. Let me see what they look like the next couple of days. Let's change it up. Something's off about those two in suits. Maybe they're just two guys that just don't look good in suits. You know, you ever see someone where you just know the clothes don't work? You know that they didn't pick out those clothes for them? That's what I feel is going on there. The ties. What's up with those ties? And what about an open collar shirt? Did you ever see the movie Heat? Look like that. Moving on. Now we go to media numbers. My favorite part of the show. I didn't do them yesterday, so I made a point to do it today. And today was a very critical count. These are the YouTube views from the stage before. This is the YouTube views from stage 6 of my top 3 YouTube cycling shows. First off, The Move with Lance Armstrong, George Hincapie, and Bradley Wiggins, the most star-studded of the 3 shows. The Move for stage 6 had a total of 49,000 views. Lantin Rouge, a show that was essentially built from the ground up and gained an audience. It's funny, I watched the Peacock broadcast on mute today, and I was watching the Lantin Rouge live watch-along. It was a little tough because there was a delay as far as what I was seeing to what they were commenting about. But a nice change. A nice change to the Bob Roll. I was like, let me hear what these guys have to say. The Lantin Rouge for their Stage 6 recap show had 26K. It's about what they average. Now, the Butterfly Effect with Chris Horner. Least amount of production value. One big sponsor banner behind him that he just mounts up there. And he just rants, kind of just does it all in one take. He's one take Horner. 80K! Blew everybody away yesterday with his views. He was really critical of Visma, and maybe that's why everybody goes to him now. So this will be critical to see what his comments are and what his viewership is for stage 7, which I'll report on tomorrow. But he's really gaining something, and I don't know where this show could go. Only Only Chris Horner can decide. He just sort of just throws it out there. Like, would Chris Horner be good in the studio? Would he be good in a different setting? I mean, just to maximize his knowledge and his viewership. Or maybe is he just the only way to go is the way he does it? Just in the corner of a room with a jersey hanging on a hanger. But his criticism of Visma was poignant. And we just don't know what they're doing. It's his criticism is based off of logic, based off of the analytics, based off of history. What are they doing? And all leads me to ask the question, like, what's it going to take to get Chris Horner to be a team director of a say a U.S. team? Something like that. Get him in the seat and directing young riders or something in races. I'd love to see it. Big day for Chris Horner and the Butterfly Effect yesterday with 80,000 views. Moving on, everyone, we are going to stage 8. Let's preview it because we got a flat 171 kilometers. We have an intermediate sprint at 85 kilometers. We've got a Cat 4 climb, and then it flattens out into a flat finish. So looks like on paper that is a ideal day for the sprinters. We've had 2 hard days, which were breakaway lumpy days. And then we've got a hard mountain day, our first mountain day on Sunday. So this has got to be a sprint finish, I would think. This is the last day the sprinter teams can try and control. So the Gourmets, the Lidl Treks, those fighting for those Green Points jerseys, maybe even Alpecin for Vanderpool, who's in the green jersey race. Maybe they will fight to control as well. As far as a breakaway goes, I don't see it happening. Breakaway's going to try. This might be a stage where the first hour is really hard trying to get in that breakaway. But this looks like a sprint. And I would say this might be a day for Milan, finally. If they can get the lead out right, he seems to be the strongest sprinter. If he can time it right and follow the right wheels, he should win these sprints. He lost to Melier by a photo finish, so you know he's got good legs. He's strong. You know Melier is going to be strong. Gourmet needs to get in this mix here. Only question is, how much of these last 2 stages take out of these sprinters? So I picked Milan to get his first stage win. The big, muscular Italian, Jonathan Milan. Maybe how about a good 1K out lead out from Quinn Simmons tomorrow? Keep the stars and stripes flowing in the breeze there. Yeah, I go sprint all the way tomorrow. If you disagree, give me a comment. See what you think. We have not had any catastrophes when it comes to our GCers yet, so let's hope everybody stays safe. No major crashes either. So once again, if you made it this far in the video, thanks for listening, everybody. Thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for the views. Hit that subscribe button. All my stuff is up on my Running It Back channel, my stand-up comedy, my YouTube shorts, my cycling series, which you're watching right now. Not to mention my interview series. It's all up there. Go check it out. There's a lot of stuff. And more's coming up all the time. But right now, we are in tour mode because it's kicking off. We are in the heart of it. The adrenaline's has worn off. We're ready. This is real racing now. Get ready. We're going to separate all the predictions to what's really going to happen. Do you love cycling? I do. How are you watching it? Hopefully it's not on a bicycle like I did. For me, Patrick Ramirez for the Running Back Network for the Tour de France Stage 7. We'll see everybody tomorrow. Good luck. Enjoy the race.